valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
When I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, I had so many questions. I didn't even know that it was cancer. Now I do. It is cancer. Blood cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more.
Listen to the home of the 5K Gruber Cash Giveaway. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what, because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. If you have anything that you would like to say from any prior show that you've heard me say, and of course I know that you've been listening and you might have heard something from 2 or 3 weeks ago or 2 or 3 days ago or 2 or 3 hours ago. Well, if you want to say something, you can give me a call. Or if you want to hit the talk and text line, that is the number, 833-212-1017 is the number. 3 minutes after the hour, it is a nice, cool day. It's a nice, wonderful, reflective day. It's Tuesday. Last week when I was on Tuesday, it felt like Friday, so it was kind of a little weird. And I've been working at really staying in the moment of the day. But, life changes. Things change all over the world. Things start to materialize and things start to show up in a way that we don't necessarily accept or realize is actually happening. And so we've got a lot of those things happening, and we're going to be talking about that. We've got a guest from the Milwaukee County Office of Equity that's going to be talking about some things that are coming up in the coming days. But I wanted to dive in, and I'll do that in the 5 o'clock hour. I'm going to dive into this topic after my guests and after my top 5 at 5, and really look at something that is an opportunity and boon for our community and is causing absolutely havoc in our community. And that is people's favorite topic, cannabis, marijuana, weed. Because right now in America, cannabis is both a business, but I believe in our community, it's a burden. And if we're going to be honest, for the black community, it's been both at the same time. On one hand, we've watched marijuana go from illegal to decriminalized to legalized to corporatized. Billions of dollars in dispensaries. We don't have any here in Wisconsin. Investors make money. States collect ridiculous taxes, and the only people that can smoke it are people that are middle class and upper class who can afford it because the taxes are so steep. The same communities that were criminalized and locked up for cannabis are now the same communities, some of them, mostly suburban, that are benefiting from cannabis. Now, the weird part is black Americans, us, use marijuana at roughly the same rate as white Americans. Historically, and even now, black people are about 3.6 times more likely to be arrested for that same marijuana possession. That's from the ACLU. And it gets worse. 3 years ago, 2023, according to lastprisonerproject.org, black Americans made up 41% of marijuana possession arrests, and we're only 14% of the population. Now, I don't know how you average that out. I don't know. It's not a coincidence. It's kind of like policy meeting practice. And in Wisconsin, black people in this state have been found to be over 4 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession than a white person. Think about that. Same behavior, different outcome. But here's the contradiction. We went from locking up people for weed to selling weed legally. But we still disproportionately arrest black people for weed. That's not a reform, that's rebranding. Some people will appreciate that. But let's not let ourselves off the hook either, because there's another side of this conversation. Cannabis today is stronger than it's ever been, more accessible than it's ever been, because nobody really cares about it, because it's more normalized than it's ever been, which means the impact, good or bad, is then amplified. Now, let's get real. For some people, cannabis is relaxation. Get to chill. For some people, it's medication, so you'll feel better. And for some people, it's just escape. The problem I have is that in too many cases, it becomes dependency, and we describe it as culture. We get young people, they're smoking earlier. We have increased normalization in spaces that used to demand discipline. So you get people going to school to smoke weed, they go to work, they smell like weed. Yes, even in professional environments. And when overuse shows up, it don't always look like addiction. You got lack of focus. delayed ambition, don't want to do anything, lay around, do nothing, emotional stagnation. You got comfort, but people are pretty mediocre. And it may not be for everyone, but it is for enough people to make a difference. And so now you combine that with the inequities that are in place, and you have a system where black communities are over-policed for weed, still face disproportionate arrests. And we're still underrepresented on the business side of the cannabis industry. So we're carrying the cost, and we get none of the benefit. But it's not really about cannabis. It's about agency. We have to decide, are we going to be consumers or owners? Are we going to participate or make the policy? Are we going to be impacted, or are we going to let weed overpower us? I believe legalization opened the door. But if you're going to walk through the door, you need to use some strategy. 4 things I think we need to know as black people. Education, and that's about health and usage of cannabis. We need awareness of the long-term cognitive impact. You're going to slow down, especially for youth. You're going to become lackadaisical. Then there's economic participation, ownership, licensing, investment that we don't have access to. But then there's policy, because laws still shape outcome. And in places where people are getting arrested, we've got neighboring states like Illinois where people go to smoke. Because here it is. Cannabis didn't suddenly become safe, because it's not. It's just profitable, sort of like liquor. And when something becomes profitable in America, somebody is going to win, and they're going to win big. The question I have is, will we? Now, I'm not here to demonize cannabis, weed, and I'm not here to support it either. I'm here to challenge how we're going to engage with it. I don't smoke weed. Use it, don't use it. I don't drink hard liquor like that. Drink it, don't drink it. Weed, liquor, support it, don't support it. Just don't be passive about it. History in America has already shown us what happens when we don't pay attention. We got potholes all over the city. We got rundown schools. We got buildings we need to rebuild. We got neighborhoods that need overhauling. Because of cannabis, we're going to go from being over-policed to being overlooked to being outpaced. Because the issue is not cannabis. The issue is control. So whatever topic you want to put in it, weed, liquor, grocery stores, the issue is control. Who has it? Who doesn't? Who understands it? Because in every era, in every system, in every market, if you don't define your relationship with it, it'll define your outcome. How do you put that simply? We can't afford to be high on access, but low on awareness.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth. Truth Nation is the best fan base in the country.
I won tickets last week on your show to see The Wiz. I just wanted to call and say thank you and say I appreciate you. I appreciate the show. I appreciate the station. That was a core memory that was made last night. The Wiz was an amazing performance.
We want you to tap into the talk and text line every show, every day at 833-212-1017. Milwaukee Black Talk, 1017 The Truth.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about 4 walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axhousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. We got some guests coming up. We'll get to those in a bit. Let me hit the talk and text line, see what you all have been talking about. I listened to Tori Lowe earlier on the YouTube chat. Hey, Quanda, what's going on? Let me take attendance. Let me see who's going to hang in here to talk to the Milwaukee County Office of Equity. Quanda's here. Dr. Ken, say his name. That's right. I'm checking in. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sincere, Ronnie Ray Real. What's up, Willie? Good afternoon. Hey, you didn't say good afternoon to me, Willie. See, you said afternoon, Truth Nation. You're supposed to say afternoon, Dr. Ken, and good afternoon, Truth Nation. See, it's the only place I can use ego and vanity, and then y'all just say hello to everybody except me. I'm going to just go cry. Hey, what's up, Curly Q? How you doing? Mao. Sincere says, thanks, babe. Did you call Quanda babe? Uh-oh. You're going to get yourself in trouble. You're going to get booted out of here. And you're supposed to speak to me first. Now, well, I guess you could speak to Quanda first. Okay. All right. She's the hall monitor, so you got to hang in there. Reginald, say, pay attention, says Dr. Ken, or prepare to pay a higher price in other areas of your life. Well, in my open, we were talking, if you were here before the break, we were talking about weed, how the business is starting. But do people actually understand and know the negative parts and the negative things that go along with cannabis. And so many times we want to jump in and want to make money. See, here's the problem that's gone in other states. It has not made a significant impact on the economy of most states. Illinois only brings in $18 million. What you going to do with that? You can do with $18 million. Not a lot. The taxes are too high. So because the taxes are too high, you end up only having middle class and upper class people smoke weed. And what do poor people do when they buy weed? They're going to buy it from the cheapest person, which is what? The street dealer. So you end up with a bigger underground marijuana selling system than you had before. It just makes no sense. Just makes no sense. Makes no sense. 833-212-1017 is the number. We'll be covering that in depth after our top 5 at 5. And so right now I have in studio Mr. Ray Banks. He's a senior program manager for the Milwaukee County Office of Equity. I want to ask, first of all, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate
also, it's Rick. Ray's my cousin.
Did I say Rick?
Department. No, you said Ray. That's not my cousin.
Are you serious?
Same last name.
Wow. Ray Banks is a good friend of mine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, very good. We work together.
Nice.
My bad.
No, y'all good.
Rick, Ray, John. No, I'm just kidding. So Rick Banks, he's the senior program manager for Milwaukee County Office. So what exactly is, I guess, in your message and in your office, what does equity actually mean?
Equity is the just and fair inclusion of all people. And so when we talk about achieving equity in the Office of Equity, we're talking about breaking down barriers. We're talking about increasing access to services and things like that, to all services. So when we talk about being able to access transit in order to get to work, how can we remove barriers for folks to be able to get to the jobs that are in communities that are far away? We talk about language access. How can we make sure that anybody that comes to somewhere like the courthouse is able to receive services in languages that they are able to properly understand and receive according to their own abilities? How can we make sure that there's no discrimination in the county workplace and any service delivery that that the county operates? We want to make sure that everything is, fair and equal and just.
So I get to complain to y'all.
Go for it.
When stuff in the county don't work. Now, you say go for it, but then I get referred to another or back to the same place. And so a lot of people hear equity, but they don't experience it. And
absolutely.
Your office is the place where you go in and you look at what the issue is and how to break that down so that more people can get the service they need, get to where they need to be.
Yeah, that's part of it. So we're looking at what are the policies that are in place in different departments. What are as they're preparing to put together major projects and their budgets, how are they conducting community engagement and interfacing and getting knowledge and data from community to make sure that as they make these decisions, they're data informed and making sure that they're accounting for voices in communities that might not be at the forefront of their thought as they're putting it together. So that's kind of the role that we come and play in.
And so do you get that before the county executive does it, or, because sometimes it's afterwards, but then do you get it like the county executive says, I'm going to do such and such? Right? Do they give it to you all first and say work out some bugs?
It's a mix, admittedly. It's there. Yeah.
Okay.
You'd be surprised. Sometimes we learn stuff just like everybody else. And we wish we'd have been able to talk about that with somebody. And then other times, they bring it to us like we're thinking about doing this, and we're able to give our input and say, hey, maybe you should do this instead, or consider this community and the impact that it would have. That kind of stuff. So
you've been at the county executive, state of the county, and all of a sudden you go, huh? I got to do what?
Yeah. I mean, the good stuff about that is we tend to know major stuff, but stuff pops up. So.
And so you all announced last year that you got a grant from Bloomberg Financial.
Not Bloomberg. Oh, it's kind of connected to Bloomberg.
But it's
like
part of City Starter initiative.
But yeah.
Okay. So what is all that?
So we applied for and received a $100,000 grant last year to join something called the City Start Initiative. And that is a project by the Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund, which is a national organization that works across municipalities and counties to come up with strategies to close the racial wealth gap. And so we're a part of a cohort of 6 cities. We're actually the only county in the cohort. Okay. And so we've been working for the last year to do research, community engagement, stakeholder engagement, interviews, all kinds of stuff to really figure out what is the lay of the land for specifically Black wealth. The project is specifically about closing the racial wealth gap for Black Milwaukeeans.
But don't you represent the whole county?
We do. Of course. And so the approach is something called targeted universalism. And that's where if we want to be able to really rise all boats, as they say, you have to target the populations that have had the most direct impact with an issue, for example. Mm-hmm. And so, like, the example I use is like if there is actually that's a bad example, but I'm trying to get to it. But like if you have a sickness that is going through your house, right? You quarantine the sick child, and you don't have to lock down the whole house in order to make sure that the sickness doesn't spread. And so that's the idea here, is that we're by targeting the folks who are impacted the most and who need those remedies the most, by also making those remedies available to the entire population, you get a population-wide remedy that is specifically designed for the circumstances of whatever the target is.
And so how does that broaden to your whole efforts of your office? So, for example, an example of something that didn't come out of this initiative but is similar to what we hope to achieve in this initiative is the removal of the birth recovery costs for unwed fathers. And so that was a fee that the county was charging to folks who were having children in order to make up for the Medicaid costs of them having those babies. And that what we found is that the impact of that was falling disproportionately on Black men, and that the cost of recovering those fees was more than we were getting back in the fees in themselves. And so the county decided to get rid of the fees entirely. And so perfect example of something where the cure was meant to relieve a disproportionate impact, but nobody in the county has to pay these fees anymore because they're gone. Okay. And so those are the kind of situations where we're trying to get at and remedy disparities and things like that. So why does the blueprint matter? So the blueprint matters because, one, the research and the historical analysis that we are doing is laying the groundwork, and it's the justification for a lot of the remedies and policy prescriptions that may come forth from it. And so by going into and building what we're calling the story of wealth, we're looking at what are not just the local policies and procedures that have laid the groundwork for not just how the Black communities build wealth, but how other communities have built wealth, and how policies have blocked certain communities from building wealth. We lay the groundwork for that. We look at with the survey data. How? I'm sorry? How do you lay the groundwork? I mean, by doing the interviews, by doing the historical research, we're building, literally, it's a timeline kind of, when the final product is done. It's a timeline of these are policies, and this is when this was passed, and these are the populations that it impacted, that boosted wealth for certain populations, and then these are the policies that took it away. And so if those policies are still in place, we can look at the impact and begin to undo some of those policies. And if they're not, then we can still utilize the fact that this policy existed, and that you can trace the impact and how, wealth for this community spreads this way and goes down for this community. We can now say that the impact of this policy requires us to do something to remedy those impacts. I remember looking at, let me see, it's been about 5 years now. So in 2021, 2022, I looked at the retirement income for Milwaukee, and south of I-94, like 53203, Fifth Ward, Third Ward, all that, the income after retirement actually went up. And so when you have numbers like that and information like that, what exactly can you focus on then? I mean, what's the, like, how long have you been doing this? How long have you had the grant? About a year now. So what are you going to start to focus on? Because you gave 4 or 5 different.
I know. This has been some of the fun about this project is you uncover so much stuff. Ultimately, we ended up deciding to focus on what we saw as what the county could have the most impact on, and what kind of was emerging as the most relevant from what we were hearing in conversations. And so that ended up becoming housing access, and so that's everything from renters and their affordability to being able to get down payment assistance, to be able to how can you pass on your house as generational wealth, and then the next one is employment and entrepreneurship, and that's how do we get access to good paying jobs? How do we get access to capital to start businesses and support your businesses and contracting opportunities and things like that? And then wealth building, which is once you have some kind of wealth and assets, how are we preserving it? How do we make sure that we can grow it and pass it on to future generations? And alternatively, how do we invest in community wealth that is not just for people's personal uses, but we're able to support the community as a whole through community institutions and things like that. And so,
now, what do you mean by community wealth?
Community wealth is it's wealth that is not in the ownership of just one person. So it's in the wealth of some kind of community-owned institution, whether that's a cooperative, a business, or a community land trust, a public bank. So there's a variety of different public or cooperative institutions that can be established that are, democratically ran by the people that are involved. And then ideally those resources are deployed in a way that benefits the group in a more equitable way.
Rick Banks, also known as Ray Banks. Rick Banks, Senior Program Manager for the Milwaukee County Office of Equity. When we come back, we want to dive into some of your partners and listening sessions, but we want to find out what's going on this weekend because you've got a great program coming up this weekend. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. And now with 101.7 The Truth Traffic, here's Debbie Lazaga.
Southbound on 43, we've got backups, pretty hefty ones, too, from before Capitol Drive all the way down through the Marquette, down to the KK River crossing. Northbound is backing up from the base of the high-rise bridge all the way to North Avenue. Got a couple of issues on 94. Westbound at St. Paul Avenue, the 2 left lanes are blocked with a crash, so definitely starting to see the bigger delays heading through that area. And a little bit further on westbound, right about at 35th Street, the center lane is blocked with a broken down vehicle. That's going to be slow all the way out to about Hawley Road anyway. On the eastbound side, we've got backups through the Barker Road area from Springdale, and then again back on the brakes from 76th Street all the way to 27th. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight, partly cloudy skies, low of 42. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 62 at the lake, 70 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on April 28th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness, third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Tune in April 28th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, may I ask a few questions?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog.
Great. Do you have a pool outside?
Nope, just a big old backyard.
Nice. Another question. Are there any unlocked guns in the home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let's just talk about what we can bring for dessert.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
This True Sports Update is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel. The Milwaukee Brewers start a 3-game series on the road tonight against the Detroit Tigers. Even though the Crew haven't played a divisional opponent, manager Pat Murphy says others in the NL Central have gotten off to a good start.
But that's what it's all about. Being in a competitive league, it's high tide lifts all boats. So we'll just keep worrying about ourselves and trying to get healthy and trying to survive this time and hopefully get on a roll ourselves.
Kyle Harrison will get the start tonight for Milwaukee. 5:40 first pitch in Detroit. Coverage begins on our sister station 620 WTMJ at 5 o'clock. And former Brewers slugger Ryan Braun will become the latest inductee in the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame with ties to pro baseball during an induction ceremony in July. Braun will join other notable Brewers including Hank Aaron, Cecil Cooper, and Prince Fielder. The first round of the NFL Draft is coming up Thursday in Pittsburgh. The Packers currently do not have a first round pick. This True Sports Update was powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Our guest is Rick Banks. He is the Senior Program Manager for Milwaukee County Office of Equity. We also have in studio Aziz Abdullah, who is the Empower founder and also the research partner in all this nonsense we're talking about and all the stuff that's really needed. And people need to actually pay attention. They need to wake up and understand that once you understand the economic empowerment of anything, that, you know, what was it you said, Rick? A rising tide lifts all boats. Yeah. And that's one of the things. So welcome, Aziz. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
All right. Pull that microphone closer to you so you can.
How's that?
There you go. There you go.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you did a lot of the numbers thing. You did the research and how they are going in and finding out what the issues are in Milwaukee, particularly not just the black community, but people that aren't financially and economically viable and trying to figure out reasons why. So now you have this economic empower blueprint. You've done research and you've gathered data. What have you found to date?
Yeah, so just to take a step back and talk about the process a little bit, the way we normally approach the work and when we're trying to uncover or learn a little bit more about an issue is really in three different formats. So two of those formats are identified as quantitative and qualitative data. On the quantitative side, that's traditionally going to happen through formats like surveys and conversations where you're gathering numbers.
Right.
And then qualitative is when you're having discussions and conversations. Mm-hmm. And then lastly is the secondary data. And so that is what I consider, as a practitioner, honoring the work that has already happened before you.
So looking at all the reports and things people have filed and, okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so in that, we first went at the quantitative approach, and we had just under 1,000 participants in the survey. And we really were wanting to understand the lived experience of what is costing people, what is impacting people's ability to get ahead.
Okay, and how did you qualify getting ahead?
So one, we wanted to uncover how people defined wealth.
But you know what I mean? You're either getting ahead or you're not getting ahead. How did you define that? What was the line?
So we use different instances. So one of those being, if you had an extra $500, how would you use that today?
Okay.
And so what the survey identified with over 82% respondents saying they would pay down debt.
Okay.
Those were one of the indicators of how we were identifying how individuals were currently positioned from a fiscal and financial standpoint.
Okay.
But the reason why I started talking about how people defined wealth is we wanted to understand what people perceive when it comes to their financial responsibilities. The irony is the majority of folks, and maybe this is. I won't use the words good or bad.
Come on, out with it.
But I think we are uncomfortable in a capitalistic environment talking about money.
Because nobody shares how they got it, how they made it, how they... Wow.
It's interesting in all the conversations and interviews that I did with the process. Like, only one person defined wealth as like cash flow, like asset-based cash flow. And that person runs a stock program where they're teaching people how to invest. Like, everybody else is like, as long as I'm comfortable, if I'm good, if I'm happy, that kind of stuff. So how people think about wealth is really different depending on who you're talking to.
And so your data found that how people think about wealth is how they engaged with it.
Absolutely.
So if they had low information, low entry, they really didn't, they kind of shied away from it.
A lot of times it was talked about like peace of mind, health.
Really? Okay.
It was talking about having family, having social supports. It wasn't really calling out having money to leverage, to advance my economic...
To invest, buy.
Exactly.
Leave a legacy over 3 generations, all that. None of that was there?
I won't say it wasn't there. I would say an overwhelming...
It wasn't significant.
It wasn't significant.
Okay.
It was not a significant indicator of how people were defining wealth.
Wow.
So that was, I think, a learning...
But that's a pretty heavy lift if you have to teach people... You literally have to rewire people's minds in education to do that.
And this is where I think we are at really an interesting time in space and in history, because a lot of the systems that were built prior to the way that we live today are also being challenged.
Right.
So what does it mean to be a great employee? Do you use AI or do you not? What does it mean to run an industrial manufacturing facility?
Right.
Does it mean you employ people? In the last year, we just had the first billion-dollar company with 1 employee.
Right.
And so we're at this unique time of, should we even be defining wealth or how we look at our environment only through the lens of fiscal responsibility? So to your point, the question does become, do we need to educate people that economics and finances are the way you defend yourself in a capitalistic environment? Or are we at a time where we're going to re-narrate and restructure our environments to maybe look at that differently?
But we're still in a capitalist environment.
100%.
And so how do you give them equity? How does the Office of Equity create that environment? I know you've got a thing, and when we come back from the break, I really want to dive into this event you have coming up because it talks about the story of wealth. Most people have no idea how people get wealthy. They just know they have money, or they see other people with money and they go, "Boy, I wish I could get that," but they don't know how. And so when we come back, I want to dive into that. I know it'll be at the Wisconsin Black Historical Society. I want to talk about why people should even come. Like, why should I care? You've got all these numbers, you got all this data, but then how does that dovetail into what I'm going to learn on Saturday? You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Rick Banks, he's the senior program manager. And we've got the founder of Empower, their research partner, Aziz Abdullah. We'll be right back. If you got any questions, 833-212-1017, or you can hit us on the YouTube chat at 101.7 The Truth.
Coming with straight truth.
We can do anything when it comes to being organized, when it comes to making sure that we're active, when it comes to making sure that we're holding people accountable and making sure that we get something out of the deal. Y'all don't know how to make deals. Y'all mad at Donald J. Trump because he's trying to make deals or trying to say that he's the master of the art of the deal. Well, okay, what deals is you trying to make?
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we don't leave success to chance. We're designed for it. With strong support, high expectations, and a team committed to excellence, our educators turn belief into outcomes every day. If you believe every child deserves an excellent education, join Milwaukee College Prep. Apply today. Visit mkeprep.com/jobs. Truth Nation, join the Milwaukee County Office of Equity on Saturday, April 25th at 10 a.m. for the Story of Wealth exhibition at the Wisconsin Black Historical Society. Discover how policies have shaped financial opportunities in Milwaukee and learn how we can break down barriers to success. Hear from a panel including keynote speaker James J.B. Bell. This event is free to attend with food provided, door prizes, and great music, so make sure you get there early.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harrison is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Al on the YouTube chat said, I'm sorry, I think you didn't say the name of the company, which I just did. But can you have them repeat the name of the company and what their goal is for the meeting that takes place this weekend? So, Office of Equity is having a Story of Wealth, a free community event on Saturday, April 25th, 10 a.m. at the Wisconsin Black Historical Society. I guess you can answer Al's question. Why should people show up? Why should they attend? And what can they expect?
Yeah, so I would say you should show up if you're curious about, learning a little bit of history and a little bit about where we are now, and how you can be a part of moving things forward as we move forward in this initiative. And so at the event, we'll have food. We encourage folks to come and network.
Why does every event have food? Like
you gotta feed the people bread to get the exactly. So
and then I show up. Oh, we ain't got no food left.
Right. You gotta give energy and all that.
I think he said put a plate to the side.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
How hard is
I got you.
What I'm talking about. Give a brother a plate. Save me a plate. And so that's at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. And so often, what we hear from folks is, when we do these interviews and surveys, y'all took all this information from us and we ain't hear nothing back. We don't know what the survey said or whatever. And so this part of it is we want to report back out to community.
But do they want to hear it? Are they going to listen?
I think so. I think I was able to attend, some of the sessions that Empower hosted, and Empower is amazing. They, I asked for
Empower's different. They straight gangster people. Hey, y'all gonna do this? You gonna listen? You gonna follow it?
So
I heard of them.
I think we got some people. I was in the conversations, and we have folks who are really passionate and really interested about this work. This is, like you said, it's very prescient. We have grocery stores that are closing in our communities. We have people that are struggling to afford housing. And so everybody's feeling the weight of this and knows that something needs to be done. And I think that people are energetic about coming together to try to figure something out. And so we want to report out to the community on what we heard and share the research and historical findings that we had so we can lay the groundwork for people as we start to put together what the blueprint's recommendations are, that we can lay the groundwork for people of why it looks like what it does and why we're considering the things that we are. And it's because of all of these historical policies and things that we've uncovered and just the general sense of where people are in the community financially and what they want us to do when it comes to their personal and community wealth.
However, will people understand they have to step up to the plate? Will people understand they have to step to the line? Like there's no handout. Right. There's no. When it comes to wealth, you literally have to earn your own.
That is the message that we're trying to put out. Is like we're trying to come at this from a both and situation where it's like, yes, there are systemic issues at play. There are policies that need to change. There's money that needs to be allocated, and folks need to be able to create a budget and, be able to get access
to be ready so when the opportunity occurs.
Things like that. So how can we meet both ends and create something powerful in the middle is what we're trying to create.
So what's next? Economic blueprint. Economic empowerment blueprint. What's next? So you got all the data, you got all of it. You're going to have this story of wealth, and that'll happen, and then what?
So we're synthesizing information in the gist of it. So this community event on Saturday is kind of our last community event where we're getting last bit of input before we really go back to our partners. And so we've got an internal stakeholder group of folks at the county, and we also have an external group of community partners that we invited to come and be a part of the process. And so we're going to bring those two groups together to synthesize and go through the information and then come up with a list of policy recommendations that we'll present to the county leadership and to the county board, and then start implementation. We're already starting to think about how we can secure resources and funding and possibly get some kind of initiative off the ground this year that would support
to do what?
Access. It's still in progress. The whole goal would be some kind of economic
Come on, I want
development,
answers right now. Come on.
The big thing right now is like food apartheid. So maybe that might be supporting some new community grocery store or something like that, or
that
maybe
would be
it's
powerful.
more of
that would be
a
great.
capacity building thing for community or something like that. Still putting it together, but the idea is that we want to. This is not to be a blueprint that is going to sit on the shelf, but that we want to really embed in the county operations and see it through as we move forward into the coming years and make it a part of the county strategic plan.
Azeed, when the data changes, will the program change?
I believe so, but so there's things that there's a role that the county plays.
Right.
How the framework that we're publishing the information through is the socioecological model.
Right.
Which basically starts with what are you gonna do?
Right.
And so to me, this is a relationship of mutual benefit and mutual responsibility. So to Rick's point, there are historical factors that play a role into how we got here today.
Right.
But the reality of how we move into a direction of where we need to be is not it's going to be an exclusive policy agenda that the county starts to make decisions around that are going to hopefully trickle down to individual behavior change. So the thing that we're really focusing on in reinforcing the things that Rick is bringing up is also focused on how on an individual basis, regardless of what happens around you, can you make decisions that change your circumstances and move you to an opportunity that changes, your future and the future for your family.
Where can people go to learn more about the blueprint?
So it's not public yet, but as we go through the initiative, we do have a webpage on the Office of Equity page, and I should know this. It is milwaukee.gov. I want to say / Office of Equity, but don't take my word for it. If you Google Milwaukee County Office
Milwaukee.gov / EN / office of equity.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't know it. It was a lot of dashes and stuff.
Yes, all right, so take 30 seconds. What do people need to know? If there's one thing people need to know, what is it?
From this entire session? If you are interested in advancing economic empowerment and closing racial wealth gaps and building economic development for the Black community in Milwaukee and all communities in Milwaukee County, then attend our event on Saturday, April 25th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll have great colleagues and fun there. We'll be talking about how we got here and how we're going to work together to get out of it. And I'll say that's the gist. Ozzy, you got anything to add?
Data-wise, what do people need to know? If there's one piece of data that is going to be the linchpin that's going to change a person's life, what do they need to know?
55% of people in the data said the work that they do every day is not enough to cover their basic income.
Wow.
And so when I think about what we need to do to get to the next stage of where we need to be at, it's going to start with building family. It's going to start with sacrifice, and it's going to start with collective behavior change.
Y'all going to start a fight. You know that, right? You know you're going to start a fight, right?
Why?
Well, think about that. I'm going to have, you're telling me I have to sacrifice.
Right.
And I need to take time, if possible, get a part-time job and move forward. And those are things that we've heard, but now you've got the data that backs up what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah. And it's first person. It's not theoretical. It's not.
Like you're telling people what they said.
Correct.
Not what you said.
Right.
Wow.
So nothing has ever progressed in history without somebody putting in work and making a sacrifice.
That's true. That's true.
Absolutely.
That's true. Anything we didn't talk about that you want to share?
If anybody is like leading a like a nonprofit or a group that's working to do good work in the Milwaukee area, that is especially if you've been involved with the county recently, we're actually hosting a sustainability summit on May 5th, sorry. And you can find out more information about that on our website as well. And the idea is that we want to provide resources, knowledge, and capacity to organizations that are doing good work in the community to be able to sustain themselves as the funding environment changes with, policy changes happening. We want to make sure that organizations are able to stay on the ground doing the good work that they can. And so we invite them to come and fellowship with us and gain some good knowledge on May 5th.
Anything from you?
Just grateful for the opportunity. I think we have hard pills to swallow, but I think history tells us that as a people, we've been able to deal with and carry the most difficult burdens that have ever existed amongst a group of people, and that history is not that far away, but the solutions are much more closer than we anticipate. And so when we change our own behavior, the world around us will be all the different.
Azeed Abdullah, founder of Empower, our research partner with the Milwaukee County Office of Equity. We've also got Rick Banks. He is the Senior Program Manager. And you can join them, Milwaukee County Office of Equity, on Saturday, April 25th at 10 a.m. for the Story of Wealth exhibition at the Wisconsin Black Historical Society. Discover how policies have shaped financial opportunities here in Milwaukee and learn how we can break down barriers to success. Some of those you've heard right here. Hear about a powerful panel with Michelle Bryant, Claiborne Benson, Brenda Blanks, Kirk Harris, and with keynote speaker James J.B. Bell. This event is free with food provided, door prizes, and a lot of great music. So make sure you get there. They'll be saving me a plate. They said they're going to save me a plate, but I don't know. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. I want to say thank you to the Milwaukee County Office of Equity. Top 5 at 5 up next.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for What the Business Is. Tell us what your business is, where you're located, and one thing you've learned along the way. What the Business is powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth.
Truth Nation is the best fan base in the country.
This is my first time calling in, but I listen to you all the time, and I appreciate you and Elizabeth Brown and everything you stand for and everything that you do. So I want to say thank you so much for being you.
We want you to tap into the talk and text line every show, every day at 833-212-1017.
Hey, man, this station is on fire the last couple days.
Milwaukee Black Talk, 1017 The Truth.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a bright, focused foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. 1 minute after the hour, it is 74 degrees. I never thought I'd say that in the next, like, with all the rain and the flooding and all that stuff. It's 74 degrees. Feels like 74 because the wind is at zero. They got zero chance of rain. Zero. Winds are from the west-southwest at about 11 miles an hour. So, we'll have a traffic update at the bottom of the hour. We'll have all those things. You just heard, and if you missed it, go back and make sure you listen. We had the folks from the Milwaukee County Office of Equity in, Rick Banks and their data partner, Aziz Abdul from Empower. And looks like Saturday it's going to be a great show. So they came in to talk about their Story of Wealth exhibition at the Wisconsin Black Historical Society on Saturday, August 25th. August? I say August? You see where my mind is, right? April 25th at 10 a.m. So make sure you hang out. They got free food. They got some discussion. They're going to tell you what you said that you need in the county of Milwaukee in order to make it. They're working on what's called an economic empowerment blueprint for Milwaukee County. So you might want to check it out. Later, I'm going to hit the talk and text line. I'm going to hit the YouTube chat. You can also give me a call if you have any questions about what we just talked about and anything coming up, because I'm going to be diving into the weed thing. I told you in my open, we talked about marijuana and cannabis and the business, and I'm going to dive in. I got some questions for you because, I'm intuitive this week, and I'm intrigued this week, and I got some, I thought them through, and now I'm going to ask the question.
Number 5.
Well, if you've been following basketball, JS Online, the Wisconsin basketball transfer John Blackwell committed to Duke. Like, wait, what? So ex-Wisconsin star John Blackwell is headed to one of college basketball's blue bloods. He's committed to Duke for his senior season, he announced today on social media. 6'4" guard entered the transfer portal while exploring his NBA draft opportunities after playing first 3 seasons at Wisconsin. He described the decision to leave UW at the time one of the hardest decisions he's ever had to make because his experience there has been nothing short but incredible, short of incredible. He averaged a career-high 19.1 points per game and 25-26. Was an impressive guard tandem with Nick Boyd, who averaged 20.7 points. He had 5 games with 30-plus points, including back-to-back Big Ten tournament games. He was the only high major scholarship offer out of high school in Michigan. Was from Wisconsin, narrowed his list of prospective schools to Alabama, Arizona, Duke, Illinois, Louisville, and UCLA. But he hit the portal, and he's rolling out. Hey, have you heard anything about these 10 missing scientists?
Number 4.
From CBS 58, a nuclear physicist and MIT professor fatally shot outside his Massachusetts residence. Retired Air Force general missing from his New Mexico home. Aerospace engineer disappeared during a hike in L.A. They're among at least 10 individuals connected to sensitive U.S. nuclear and aerospace research who've either died or disappeared in recent years. That's prompting concerns whether they're connected or fueling speculation online about the possibility of nefarious activity. The FBI now says it's spearheading the effort to look for connections into the missing and deceased scientists, adding that it's working with the Department of Energy, Department of War, and with the State Department, local law enforcement, state agencies, all sorts of partners to find answers. Separately, Republican-led House Oversight Committee announced yesterday it will investigate reports of the deaths and disappearances of the individuals whom it said had access to sensitive scientific information. The report raises questions about a possible sinister connection between deaths and disappearances. The committee said in its statement seeking briefings on the matter from the FBI, Defense Department, Department of Energy, and NASA. Defense Department said only that it would respond directly to the committee. Department of Energy referred questions to the White House. So that's kind of interesting. So I'm going to be following that. It's kind of weird. They started in 2023. The death of Michael David Hicks, a scientist who worked for NASA and Jet Propulsion Lab for 25 years. It's just been a weird thing. So I'm going to follow that. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe somebody has been following people. But it's difficult, especially when you specialize in certain things. When you specialize in making sure the community is safe, the country is safe, things of that nature. But then we got our own city who, can't fix potholes, but do we expect them to even do simple stuff like pick up leaves?
Number 3.
From CBS 58, Milwaukee Alderman Bob Bauman is linking last week's flooding to the city's interrupted leaf pickup last fall, giving strong criticism to the Department of Public Works. Early snowfall, freezing temperatures are blamed for incomplete leaf collection. In a statement yesterday, Alderman Bauman referred to it as a botched leaf pickup and suggested it was directly related to last week's clogging catch basins in the city. He said the gaslighting by the administration has to stop. The Department of Public Works screwed up, and residents and neighbors suffered. What we need is accountability, a promise to do better in the future, and a promise to review department decisions and practices. And so throughout the summer, throughout the winter, throughout the fall, throughout the spring, those piles of leaves that were sitting there are still sitting there. We have a new set of leaves that are sitting there, and nobody picked them up. Like, I have leaves outside in front of my house in Sherman Park that have been sitting there where the cars have driven over it so much that I'm sure once it rained, they rolled down and then flooded, and that's why many of these corners are flooding. Now, I don't know if I will go so far as to blame the Department of Public Works, because bottom line, weather is the cause. But you would think, and the city complains, they, money, but that's just something that you were supposed to do already, and you didn't do it. Now, I got a story for you from WISN.com. What I want you to tell me in this story what's missing.
Number 2.
So, the Milwaukee County Zoo is implementing a new parking system that uses license plate readers to replace traditional staffed entry booths. So now there's some people losing their job. The changes take effect today. The zoo is launching what it calls free flow parking, allowing visitors to drive in and park before paying. The new license plate scanning system eliminates the need for staffed entry booths. After parking, guests will drive directly into parking lots, park, and complete payment independently by scanning QR codes located throughout the lot. So the same way sometime in some parking lots you park downtown, you can just scan it and then either download the app or go to the website, put in your information, and boom, take your credit card and you go. So payment is accepted, Apple Pay, Google Pay, or credit card. Zoo Pass members and prepaid pass holders will also use a QR code to activate their parking and can register their license plate by scanning their membership card. A key component of the project includes a new signalized entry at Blue Mound Road and 99th Street with a pedestrian crosswalk. During the transition, now listen close, all online transactions and other functions will be temporarily disabled. Online ticket prices will be honored for tickets purchased at the gate through yesterday. All previously purchased tickets remain valid for zoo admission, and zoo officials say visitors should expect long delays during construction. And they got step-by-step parking instructions and scan on site and all that stuff, right? What's missing from this story? Everybody I talked to today, I said, hey, here's the story, right? They're doing license plate reader, and they'll just read your plate and you can get in, right? Kind of same way some people park in some places, right? You just pull in, they read your plate, right? What question is missing? 833-212-1017. You can hit me on the talk and text line, or you can hit me on the YouTube chat. So you heard the story. The zoo's going to do it. Tell me, what is missing from that story? And I'm going to wait a little bit. I got a few minutes. I got about 30 seconds. I want somebody to text, what's missing from that story? So you're going to go in, you're going to pay. They scan your plate. You go in, you hit the QR code with your phone. You fill out the information. You could pay with Google Pay, right? It's right there. You just tap it, Google Pay, boop, done. Take about, 20, 30 seconds to park and pay, and you're done. What's missing out of this story? Because there's some major information that people aren't thinking about. But if you are of a libertarian slant, that your personal liberties are more important than many other things in the world, you would ask yourself that question. The zoo's new free flow parking system uses license plate readers and QR code payments, replacing traditional staffed entry booths. What is missing in this story? 833-212-1017. No, I haven't even gotten to my number one story. I probably should have made this my number one story, but it struck me to the point where I kind of looked at it and, wait, what? Y'all gonna do what? But think about that. There's something missing. It was nowhere in the story. Nobody made mention of it. And when it happens, and I see the story, I'm gonna say something. Miss Carolyn, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
I just want to say, what if they don't have a license plate, Dr. Ken? Because a lot of people drive around without license plates.
Then you won't be able to get in.
They said you can go in and they can scan your thing. So who's going to be doing the scanning?
You'll have to use your VIN number or something. Now, you want me to tell you what's missing?
Yeah, tell me what's missing.
Now watch this. You got plates on your car?
Of course I do.
Who gets access to that information once the zoo has it? They're owned by the county. Where does that license plate information go? No. Think about it. Who stores it? If the police want to find out you somewhere, what if they put something like, can they track your car?
Yeah, if they get your VIN number.
But after I get it and you pay, do you delete the information? Do you delete my plate from your system, or does it forever stay in your system?
It probably gonna forever stay in their system. Because like you said, who's gonna delete it?
Are you okay with that?
Nope.
But yet there it is.
So then I won't be going to the zoo. And if I do, I take a Uber.
Who you telling? All right, take care. See, I didn't think about that. Take an Uber. Let the Uber plate get in. I heard that story and I just went, no, we're not doing that. I will not be going to the zoo after, when was the last time I've been to the zoo? About 2 years ago? I haven't been to the zoo since pre-COVID. Guess it's a fine time not to go.
Number one.
This story also from WISN. Look at here. Gee, another one. Heavy rains last week flooded Milwaukee streets and basements. As you probably already know, you might be one of those people, prompting city, county, and Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District leaders to form what? Another thing we don't need, other than license plate readers. What don't we need? A task force to address the city's flooding problems. Really? Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley said, we want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to be proactive. It's kind of late. It's a little late. We hear that a lot, and I guess action speaks louder than words, and all we can do is hope they do follow through on it, says Pastor Ray Santiago. Santiago lives near Milwaukee's Pulaski Park, and following last week's storms, he had about 8 inches of water in his basement. He told 12 News that there was a lot of flooding that took place. When asked what he would like the city to do, he said, well, obviously the system itself needs some upgrade. More upgrade? System he's referring to is the nearby Kinnick River. The portion closest to his house is a narrow concrete channel that can cause flooding issues. The Kinnick River currently has 7 miles of narrow concrete channels and tunnels, which MMSD Senior Project Manager Patrick Elliott said need to be widened. Rather than channeling that down a concrete chute 60 feet across, we need to give the river 150 to 200 feet across to be able to safely move that water through the area at a much lower speed. Crews have already widened the stretch of 16th Street, and plans for the other side are in the final design phase. Elliott emphasized the urgency of the work, noting that the number of structures within the flood-prone area has grown, listen to this, from 60. The number of structures within the flood-prone area has grown from 60 to 660. He said our rain events are getting more severe, more intense, and we put that into the statistics, and what we've seen is a huge increase in the floodplain across this area. MMSD has identified $900 million worth of flood mitigation projects, and the task force will prioritize short-term and long-term fixes for locations at the highest risk of flooding to prevent scenes from last week's from happening again. So you need a task force for that? Like, they literally hired somebody to run it. There's a director. Make the decision and move forward. See, a lot of times we use this and we want to always include our community partners. And we wanted this, and we got a meeting for this, and we got a meeting for that, and we got an internal group, and we got an external, because nobody wants to take responsibility. Nobody wants to take accountability for when something happens. It happens. Now, when you built it, you knew that it was too small, but you built it anyway. We'll just hope. And I'm retiring. I'm at 25, 30 years, and I won't be around when that happens. And so all the people that just made all these decisions to do all these knucklehead things in the city and the county and the state, they're retired. And now we sit here, and now we're waiting for this to happen with another task force. So you got the city talking about leaves. You got the county with a task force to talk about what? Leaves? I don't know. In the end, somebody has to pay for people's basements. And you know they're not going to let you sue MMSD. They're going to let you sue the city or the county or the state. Can't sue God because made it rain. So what you going to do? Interesting. 833-212-1017 is the number if you have any questions about my top 5 at 5. When we come back, I got more questions like I had the other day. But up next, I got to ask, should black people sell weed? I mean, like legally.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Never miss a moment of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on the new 101.7 The Truth.
Violence is a tool. Violence is a tool of oppression. It's a tool of subjugation. It's a tool of manifest destiny. Let's not say all of a sudden, oh, hip-hop music is why people are right. No. Y'all know how America was discovered? Murder, slavery, human trafficking. The origins of violence predates hip-hop. Can we at least agree on that?
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Still think you're going to use those old chemicals just sitting around under the sink, in the garage, or down in the basement? We're talking things like old antifreeze, paint thinners, batteries, propane cylinders, and pesticides. So don't let them sit there. Get rid of them right away. To MMSD's Home Hazmat Drop-Off Centers. It's safe, it's easy, and it's open to all Milwaukee County residents. There are 3 locations open year-round. Let's clean up Milwaukee.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 101.7 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about 4 walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. I've been talking about cannabis all day. But I'm gonna hit the talking text line first. Let me go back. Boop, let me go back to the talking text line. See what folk been talking about. Todd said, Dr. Ken, what I've noticed since weed has become normalized and legal in a lot of states, the people who sold it previously have had to move to a different market, the fentanyl market. Fentanyl is way more addictive than marijuana. If we zig, they zag, pun intended. So fentanyl is usually added. People don't normally just take fentanyl by itself because it'll put you down and kill you, right? Number one. Number two, if you're buying something illegal and it has fentanyl in it, that's on you because you bought something illegal. Don't buy anything illegal. Buy things that are legal. And odds are they won't have fentanyl in it. So that's one of the ways to buy weed. I'm just saying. Courtney said, Illinois never makes sense. We all know that the teacher's pension is killing the state. LMO. So I get it. They're getting killed in Illinois. They got so many. I talked to somebody from Illinois who's a I'm not going to say his title. I'm just going to say he's an elected official. And he says, we got it under control. I told him, I would never move. I would never move to Milwaukee. I mean, to Illinois again. I will never move back to Illinois, ever. I said, that place it's terrible. Melissa said, when I was talking about the plates, and all that, right? About how you drive into the zoo. One of my top 5 at 5, you drive into the zoo and they take your plate reader. Well, who does this information go to and how do they use it? I don't know. But you got the place you're paying that's going to take it. You got the zoo that has access to it. I don't know. And where is it being stored? Beats me. But guess where I won't be going? To the zoo. Not gonna even happen. Let me check because you all were going off on when I was on my top 5 at 5. Miles says, I guess there's no more free parking throughout the city. The city wants to make every single dime they possibly can. And the weird part about it, if they would just do a toll. By the way, I drove from Indianapolis last week, and I usually take $2.94, pay a couple tolls. It cost me like maybe, I don't know, $3-4. Maybe $7. I'm fine. Today I had to go to the south side of Sunday I had to go to the south side of Chicago. So I took I-65, then I took I-90, which is the Skyway. You know how much it costs to get into the city of Chicago on the Skyway? $8.10. I remember it was 50 cents. $8? No. I will drive all the way around in backed up traffic before I pay $8 to get to the south side. Mal, there's no more free parking. Babar said legally, nobody wants that. Watered down Mary Jane. Well, it's not watered down. Going back to the Mary Jane piece. that I was talking about with cocaine in my open and what I'm about to dive into now. It's pretty powerful. They get to make it the way you like it. So, yeah. And then regarding the floods, Miles said MMSD talked about those floods 10 years ago and asked the city to invest in clearing the sewer system because the amount of rain will increase over time, and the city chose to invest downtown. Yep. Watch this. You ready? Hey, Zach. Did you hear anywhere downtown that was flooded? Exactly. No. EVC said it's not designed for black people to sell weed legally, unfortunately. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You just need so much money and so many investors that they let their friends know, elected officials, they let their friends know they were passing this law, and they set up, and next thing you know, boom, they got it. They got it. Aaron said even Ice-T and his millions were X'd out of the marijuana business. Hopefully some power can come through. Well, that's what I'm going to talk about. There's a story in news1.com that says, what does 420 mean for black people when we own so little of the cannabis industry? It's a story from yesterday. When it comes down to it, 420 is an arbitrary holiday. That's yesterday, right? But for those who already smoke weed regularly, you celebrate Wearing Pants Day or Drinking Water Day, Happy 4H2O, all that kind of stuff, right? Now it's kind of Monday. So back in the 70s, a bunch of high school kids got together at 4:20 p.m. to smoke weed. And from that day of April 20th became the representation of the counterculture phenomenon that, again, only celebrates people doing what many of them already did the other 364 days of the year. Smoke weed. But we need to understand some stuff. Before it was ever labeled marijuana, it was demonized by politicians, fear-mongering propaganda. Marijuana was a respected medicinal and industrial plant. Early American presidents grew hemp for rope, textiles, and paper. For centuries, the plant was used to relieve everything from nausea to anxiety. It wasn't until black jazz musicians and Mexican immigrants brought cannabis into the mainstream in the early 20th century that the government got nervous. Why? Well, this writer believes because it was associated with black people. Fast forward to the 1970s, Nixon doubled down, calling weed public enemy number one, signing laws that lumped marijuana in with heroin and LSD, paired with the war on drugs, decimated entire neighborhoods. We saw that with the crime bill. Putting black men and women behind bars at staggering rates for the same plant that they sell in a luxury dispensary with branding and investor backing. What does that mean for us? So then my question to you, 833-212-1017 is the number, and I may as well make it the poll question of the day. Should black people sell cannabis legally? Knowing the impact that it has on us, knowing the negative things, and I talked about it in my Dr. Ken's Truth, in my open awareness today. And if you didn't hear it, go back and check it out. We have to grasp the fact that marijuana is not good for you. Yeah, we use it for relaxation. We use it for medicinal purposes. We use it to just escape because we got stress. But when we come back, I want to talk about what it looks like when you smoke weed. What I've seen, what I've heard, what everybody from the ACLU on down to medical professionals say, what a person actually looks like, what a community looks like when it smokes weed. And now with the final traffic check of the day, here's Debbie Lazica.
Well, things are starting to look a little bit better. That earlier accident westbound 94 at 25th Street or St. Paul Avenue has been cleared. We do still have delays, though, from 27th to Hawley Road, from the Zoo to Elm Grove Road, and a little pocket of heavy traffic heading past Highway F. On the eastbound side, delays from 164 all the way to Barker Road, and then back on the brakes from just east of 76th Street all the way through to about 35th. We got delays southbound 43, pretty heavy from Capitol Drive all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River. Northbound slowing down from Chase Avenue all the way up past North Avenue to Locust. A check of the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low of 42. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 62 at the lake, 70 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Tap into the best power hour in radio in Milwaukee.
So altogether, you're looking at $1,780 for your mortgage and for your property taxes in a year. And that's before you have to deal with, obviously, your water bill and electric bill. That's a steep price that people have to pay. And based off those numbers I just ran, to afford a home like that, you got to make $65,000 a year. But the problem is, here in Milwaukee, the median household income is only $54,234. That's out of whack. So again, I am all about affordability. I'm all about people getting homes. But what we have to understand is that until homes are more affordable, you can have a supply and demand problem, but the problem that we have here in the city of Milwaukee is that these prices, when people are listing these houses, they're listing them for prices that people really can't afford. And even if you do get the house and you're paying that, you're living paycheck to paycheck. Home ownership is not about living paycheck to paycheck. Home ownership is about finding something that fits within your budget and building equity for the future.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
This True Sports Update is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel. The Milwaukee Brewers start a 3-game series on the road tonight against the Detroit Tigers. Even though the Crew haven't played a divisional opponent, manager Pat Murphy says others in the NL Central have gotten off to a good start.
But that's what it's all about, being in a competitive league. It's high tide lifts all boats, so we'll just keep worrying about ourselves and trying to get healthy and trying to survive this time and hopefully get on a roll ourselves.
Kyle Harrison will get the start tonight for Milwaukee. 5:40 first pitch in Detroit. Coverage begins on our sister station 620 WTMJ at 5 o'clock. And former Brewers slugger Ryan Braun will become the latest inductee in the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame with ties to pro baseball during an induction ceremony in July. Braun will join other notable Brewers, including Hank Aaron, Cecil Cooper, and Prince Fielder. The first round of the NFL Draft is coming up Thursday in Pittsburgh. The Packers currently do not have a first-round pick. This True Sports Update was powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Andrew Zimmel.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. 74 degrees outside. The high was 75. The low tonight's going to get around 43 degrees. Winds are from the west-southwest at about 9 miles an hour. We've been talking about weed all afternoon. Al, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Well, if you're going to let black people sell it, you might as well bring back angel dust and everything else.
Man, come on. Come on.
I'm just serious.
It's in a dispensary, so you're not going to get to put nothing in it. It's got to be,
And then I think it's also overrated. It strips you of your youth. Everybody walking around here looking like cemetery stone face. Their lips look wore out, and they're all blue and black, and they put off their pH balance. Even if you make them smell like take a bath, they still gonna smell like gas station incense and crack. Bruh. I think it's overrated. I need my weed.
Oh yeah, it's overrated.
Well, what you going through?
Of course, it's
way
overrated. Unless you're using it as medicine and it's stopping you, joint pain and all that a doctor gives you. Nah, it's yeah.
I think. And some of these people are not even using it for that. Oh, I got to be high. Like, the only thing you got in common that you look like a cemetery stone face from the cemetery. You look like a grave marker. That's the only thing you got in common. That's it. Behoove me with that now. And then they ask you, can I borrow some money? Why you didn't take that money and get your 3.5 that you don't know how to get anything else and find no resources? You knew how to find it, but now I need to support your habit.
Well, let me ask you a question, Al. Do you find it interesting that people can't find a job, but they can find weed, somebody to sell them some drugs?
I think their priorities is messed up, and I don't have no care of. If the weed is more important, may you be broke. And I don't care what you go through.
So if I ask you a question, should black people sell cannabis legally? What's your vote?
No.
Okay.
They can try, but the people who are already doing it already got y'all out. So now you should come in like bottom feeders.
All right.
There's something else. I think black people can dominate on something else. They have to sit down and think. Just like when they can't find that 3.5, they'll come up with a way. Have a good day.
All right. 833-212-1017 is the number. So we have to look at this, right? Talked about it before the break. We got to talk about this. What does marijuana give you that you really don't need? One, it gives you a lack of focus. When you in a cut, and you mellow and you chilling, you're not doing anything. You're not being productive. Your brain slows down. Your breathing slows down. Like, what do you get out of it? Well, one thing you get out of it is delayed ambition. Have you ever known anybody that smoked weed on a regular basis and were doing something? And when I say that, let me qualify that. I know a lot of musicians smoke weed. They just don't smoke weed while they're playing. They don't smoke weed while they're drumming or not. They smoke weed on the side. So you got to ask people. You can't just, are you a drug user? Do you smoke weed? But how often do you smoke weed? What does your bank account look like? Where do you live? What kind of job do you have? A lot of the stuff we complain about, even with the Saturday event coming up, with the story of wealth, with the Milwaukee County Office of Equity, Saturday at 10 a.m., Wisconsin Black Historical Society. What you're going to find may not be what they told you. Like, they may tell you something that they think you want to hear, but in fact, if you smoke weed, odds are you have no ambition. You have emotional stagnation, like you're stuck where you are. If you're a kid and you start smoking weed, you're going to be stuck. This is me, not neurologically or the medical professional. This is me. I've seen people stuck where they are for a decade. It's like a 25-year-old acting like a 15-year-old. They're emotionally stagnant. No growth, nothing. And then, on top of all that, you become comfortable with just being, well, not even average, just mediocre, just plain, just nothing. Now, I'm not saying for the occasional weed smoker, I have no problem, because it's not me. I'm not a weed smoker. I don't live with any weed smokers, I don't think. Like, I don't live with it. If it's for medicine and the doctor says you need this because you've got this or you've got cancer or you've got something and you need to take it, you need to use it so that you can have a better quality of life, that's one thing. But at some point, right? Somebody just told me I was arguing from conjecture. What I said was people like, and they mentioned Snoop, Martha Stewart, and Jay-Z all partake and are rich. But what I said, and I qualified my statement, is that they don't do it on a regular basis. They don't go home every night and smoke weed. They don't wake up in the morning and smoke weed. They don't smoke weed all afternoon. They smoke it recreationally. What you doing this weekend? They smoke weed like people drink beer. Hey, what you doing this weekend? I'm not doing that. I'm going to go smoke some weed. Saturday, Sunday afternoon, sitting outside at the gazebo, right? Otherwise, there's no way they could get their work done. It would show on TV, Martha Stewart. Well, maybe sometime it did show. But anyway, Jay-Z could never write songs like that. But then again, maybe you can. Altered state, right? I get it. But on a regular, like people smoke cigarettes every day, like people drink because they're an alcoholic every day, smoke weed, there is absolutely no way. You're going to lose focus. You're not going to have ambition. You're going to be emotional, and you are going to be mediocre. And I guarantee you the level of weed that they smoke, and let me qualify that too. The quality of weed they smoke is probably significantly better than what you get in the street. Which means you may not have the adverse effects that you have with some weed that they cut with God knows what, and now you smoking it. You don't know what you're smoking. That's all I'm saying. I'm not bashing weed smoking. At some point, people are going to do it anyway, so you may as well legalize it. You got the laws already in place. I don't know why people keep talking about, we need these laws in place, and they're already in place. Operating while intoxicated is actually operating under the influence of an intoxicant or other drug. So it's covered. You can get a ticket for that. They can test your blood. There's none of the laws need to change. They just need to stop making it in the statutes where you get charged with a felony and get locked up and go to prison for marijuana. That's just weird to me. Well, Tiger Woods is not an alcoholic. Day said that's like saying Tiger Woods is an alcoholic because he doesn't drink on the course during the Masters. He's still an alcoholic. Well, I get your point. You're not calling him an alcoholic. I get it. So I think it's the level and the frequency that you smoke marijuana that affects you. And of course I'm going on conjecture. It's a radio talk show host. Come on now. But at some point, too much is too much. Too much of anything is bad for you. Too much coffee, too much water, right? What say you? 833-212-1017 is the number. Should black people sell cannabis legally? Right now, we got it in the YouTube chat. 56% say yes, 44% say no. I'm interested in the people that say yes. Why? Why do you say yes? Why do you say yes that black people should be selling weed? Now, granted, black people shouldn't be boxed out of any industry that can generate generational wealth. That I think everybody agrees with. The issue I have is to what point? If you're going to generate significantly more alcoholics, then you probably shouldn't be selling liquor in the black community. While I care and love the city of Milwaukee, I care about our community. Just like white people care about theirs, I care about mine. I don't bash them for caring about theirs as long as it doesn't affect mine. But when you start locking us up, and granted, we go out the house smelling like weed, we drive in a car smelling like weed. And so if you legalize weed, then the smell of marijuana no longer becomes probable cause for a stop. Does that make sense? Because right now, the police, they smell weed, they can pull you over. They can stop you. Weed is illegal. If you legalize it, the smell, right, no longer becomes probable cause or reasonable suspicion. So you can't really stop somebody because they smell like weed. Now, you're going to have a heck of a time finding a job unless your job is in a dispensary, you know. But think about that. Here's my suggestion. I'll give it out free so that everybody can make some money. I would work on what I can create that removes the smell of marijuana from your person. Because the problem with marijuana is my brain's not working because I'm moving too fast. The molecule has like little hooks in it. And that's why it hangs around so much. So you can wash your clothes, you can do all sorts of things, and it still will stay in your clothes. So unless you got some scent, remover and some fabric remove, something like that goes in it, that can remove the smell, the person that can invent that, where I can walk down the street and spray myself like I spray cologne and remove the smell of weed, is a trillionaire. Because it's going to be legalized. We already know that. Marijuana is going to be legalized. We know it. We know it. So we may as well be ready for all the ancillary things, right? All the things that surround it. Remember the gold rush. The people that were digging for gold didn't make the millions. Some found gold, some didn't. It's the guy that sold the shovel that made the money. We need to be the person that sells the symbolic shovel of the smell of marijuana. And if we could do that, you're talking trillions of dollars. All kinds of different. And when people say, yeah, but the first person that comes out with it, well, no, that won't fly because we sell cologne and perfume, and we've got hundreds of different scents, and everybody buys it. Hey, by the way, you still think you're going to be using those old chemicals just sitting around under the sink in the garage or down in the basement? Probably not. So don't let them just sit there. Get rid of them the right way. Take hazardous waste to MMSD's home hazmat drop-off center. It's safe, it's easy, and it's open to all Milwaukee County residents. Plus, there are 3 locations open year-round. For hours and locations and a full list of what you can bring, check out MMSD.com. That's MMSD.com. Let's clean it up, Milwaukee.
I travel all around the world, Dr. Ken, and when I tell you, based on my experiences, this is like the #1 country that cares. Like, everything is about money. Yep. Everything.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
I've told people in the past, you have to be careful of what you complain about and what you use as a tool, because other people will take it and use it in the wrong way.
Sundays starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ and Mondays at 6 on 1017 The Truth.
Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. We're a city that knows how to celebrate, where the calendar is packed with festivals, the plates are piled high with flavor, and a lakefront sunrise sets the stage. Here in Milwaukee, every street leads to something worth savoring, a place that welcomes you with open arms and where joy is shared in bites, beats, and cheers. The Milwaukee Experience every Friday at 11 a.m. exclusively on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You heard him. If you're high, don't drive. I hope you don't drive. Well, finally, YouTube chat poll, should black people sell cannabis legally? 56% say yes, and 44% say no. So there you have it. I guess so. That's it. In a nutshell. Todd said Dr. Ken, vapes are not as loud as smoked as joints, but they probably do more damage vaping. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, well. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Tori Lowe Show's coming up. I want to say thank you for hanging with me today. We had a great show from the Milwaukee County Office of Equity, and we talked about cannabis. And we've got some great things coming for you on tomorrow. Have a great evening. God bless. Take care. It's warm outside. You know what I don't like about the warmth? Bugs, flies, bees, gnats. Man, I wish it was cold outside. Hey, thank you, Zach. Appreciate you. God bless. Take care. I'm out.
Be quiet.